Listen, man. Here's how we start. Happy playoff time. It's been great. Yada yada. But Maul, what's with the officiating recently, bro?
You know, for the longest, I'm gonna give the Chiefs all the flack because for the longest, everybody has been saying, if you play against the Chiefs, you playing against the Zebras too, and that remains consistent outside of the game this past weekend. The game was pretty even kill. There might have been one or two calls that I'd have to scratch my head on. One more specifically being the interception slash reception
Yeah.
of Xavier Worthy, putting the Chiefs down at the 5. I don't know. There was a flag on that play. It was just ugly, and you knew it would go into the Chiefs' favor. Who didn't know, guys? The Chiefs are going to the championship, and they are potentially going to three-peat. Why not? Let's just say it now. They about to three-peat because when you're going up against the Chiefs and the officiating, and you got a guy like Jalen Hurts who can't separate in terms of point margin, it's going to get ugly for the Eagles, man. Shout out to the Birds. Shout out to Saquon. He's my MVP for the year. But why would I go up against the Swifties? Come on now.
that boy, that boy Maul jumping ahead. We gonna get to that game, but listen, you right because I don't understand how that man Josh Allen very clearly was past the first down line. Very clearly was past the first down line, and the officials just come out and say, nah, and like do like the shortest review you've ever done seen, but long before that, I watched a seasoned official, might I add, come out on national television and tell me, hey, if this persists, we reserve the right to award another team a touchdown.
Automatic.
To award another team a touchdown. And all I left there saying was, okay, you gonna award a touchdown? I'm for sure jumping over them. They gonna have to get it from you because they ain't getting it from here. Because, bro, how you really gonna tell me that what I'm doing is intentional, but Jalen Hurts is going hut, fake snaps, and that's not intentional? Like, obviously, I'm trying to guess what they do, and I'm not just jumping over for the sake of jumping over. Like, what you talking about? Not only that, granted, Lattimore didn't have a great game, but A.J. Brown and Lattimore get into a squabble. Lattimore is missing his helmet.
He gets called for unsportsmanlike.
By himself. Sir, I started to play with a helmet, Somehow, somewhere, my helmet's off. Can you help me understand that? And look, here's the thing. I'm not the cat that's going to get on here and tell you that the officials are the reason the game went one way or another. I'm a Patriots fan. Look, we got a lot of help from the white and black. I get it. Washington turned the ball over 3 times on the road. It cost you double. But, bro, you guys have got to be better, bro. You got to be more consistent. You can't just I never want to hear you say you're giving another team points. Just cuss. Like ever again. And not only that, like, it's getting egregious to the point that the NFL owners are starting to meet about, like, the sliding calls for, like, let's say Mahomes. If we're being for real. Mahomes, maybe Josh Allen, but Mahomes. Like, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
I mean, the thing about it is, yeah, of course it has to get cleaned up. But guys, we are just in the thick of things. Do we not understand that NFL and the NBA and all of these major sports entities are controlled by the betting system now? Come on, guys. It's about to get even more ugly. Yeah. Let's just sit on our couches, and for what it's worth, take in the entertainment. Yeah. I'm wearing this, but who knows what we'll be able to witness the Jets get to the Super Bowl, let alone the playoffs even. Like, what factor do we hold in this Swifty era and in the era to where the NFL is skyrocketing in terms of viewership on a weekly basis and all of these different TV deals that they have going on? You think that they give a damn about the Eagles fans when it comes to the Swifties? No, they do not. So guess what? Although it was egregious, I've never seen anybody say, "Hey, the next time you jump off sides, I'm giving a touchdown here because we can't do half the distance to the goal any longer." Never heard of it. Goodell, I think you've been on the hot seat for many, many years, and you've climbed out of that hot seat. But now you got some splaining to do because this ain't making much sense, man. And it wasn't the Chiefs this time around. It was Philly. And I think that it was a disservice to the game of football watching Jaden Daniels, just for the lack of better terms, not compete, although he balled. So, ugly. But I guess we can say this week it wasn't the Chiefs, right? I don't know.
Well, hey, man. I don't know if you was trolling or not, so I'm going to ask you, who win in the bowl?
Oh, I'm going to Chiefs.
Oh, for real? You weren't trolling.
No, I wasn't trolling whatsoever. Now, that's not to say that I don't want the Eagles to win. You know, like, if anything, I'm a fan of Saquon. You know, I think his storyline leading up to this point, and just for the sake of determining who he is, you've seen him more as the individual this year, and you've seen him at his best as a player this year. So it's almost like, who are you not to be a fan of Saquon? It's just like, what is there to dislike? Like, the guy is like an upstanding citizen. He cheers for his team. He sat out the entire fourth quarter. We're talking about record-breaking season against Eric Dickerson. People don't even realize. Argue Saquon played this many more games. Saquon had about 50 carries less than Eric Dickerson to break that, not to break that record, but to just get close enough to where people felt like, Eric Dickerson held the record, whatever. But you just saw how much of a class act he was. So I'm rooting for Saquon, but Andy Reid gonna be belt to ass.
Move your hand.
Belt to ass.
Hey, look. You remember those episodes of Family Guy when they were doing like the Star Wars joints? We out here like Lois in that joint. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Like with the Eagles, bro. Because, bro, somebody got to stop the tyranny, dog. Somebody got to stop the tyranny. All right, I'll put it like this. Shout out to the year that the Bills had. We ain't Bills fans, but I like Josh Allen. He cool. Shout out to the year the Bills had. I don't think that they would have been able to compete with the Eagles with how the Eagles are set up right now. Like, they have all the pieces to win the bowl. And frankly, if there's anyone that could get in the Eagles' way, the Chiefs' way, from a talent perspective, it'll be the Eagles. I think Saquon can have a day. I think A.J. Brown may be able to have a day. I think it's going to be more likely to be Devontae Smith because I think McDuffie's going to take Brown away. I think it's the Chiefs too, just mainly because I like Jalen Hurts, but I just think that he's not that guy in terms of, like, if I'm taking him versus Mahomes, it's pretty easy, truthfully. Somehow, some way, these cats just always end up, like, they make the play. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's legit like watching Tom Brady circa Chris Hogan and Danny Amendola era. Like, they're not the most talented, but they're just going to make the play. And there's no way I'm betting against that now, right? Like,
you'd be lunatic not to, right?
Right.
I mean, that's just what it is. I feel like on the other end, like, we're dealing with probably one of the best coaching tandems that we've seen in a while too.
Come on now. Yep.
Spags and Andy Reid, come on now. Like, Josh Allen saw some blitz packages that I don't think he's ever seen throughout his entire career.
It was crazy, bro.
As an NFL quarterback. I mean, they were disguising every single blitz, and they blitzed about 90% of the time. I mean, people were questioning why James Cook didn't get more touches, but I don't know if that would have mattered.
I
Don't know if that would have mattered. I mean, I was just more nervous if Ty Johnson would have fumbled the ball or something because he's normally prone to fumbling, but it was an ugly one. And
Yeah.
the Bills stayed in that game, but Spags, Golly, him.
So here's my thing when it comes to the Chiefs. My boy Brady is a huge Ravens fan. I was talking to him about it. And I was like, yo, what's the deal with the Ravens? He said, bro, like, what it comes down to, you can't go to play Kansas City in Kansas City. You can't. Like, the only way this is possible is if you get them in Baltimore, and even then it's going to be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the worst iteration of that offense. Like, Kelsey may hang it up if they win, maybe. But you got the Noah Gray. You got Rashee Rice coming back. Xavier Worthy is coming alive. You got Marquise Brown. I'm sure he's going to want to run it back. Like, you got Pacheco. You got Kareem Hunt. You potentially could get Ashton Genty. Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. So, shout out to Mahomes for another damn year of Super Bowl. And shout out to him for probably getting in the conversation of, oh, 3-peat, he's better than Brady. He's better than Brady. Goofy energy. But, you know, that's just what it is, bro. That's what it is. But you said something that I like, bro. You said something about a coaching tendency and coaching tandem. And I'm touching on it, dog. Look, I know heads going to be like, oh, here Chris go again. No. Just tap in. That boy, Mike Vrabel, has been doing a job putting together this staff. And I know that a lot of people said, well, they did that last year and it didn't work out. No, listen. Last year, Jerod Mayo had a lot of young guys with, potential, but there was no one that was a seasoned vet to steer the ship. So what does Mike Vrabel do? He goes and brings in Josh McDaniels to run the offense. Former head coach, I know not a good one, but former head coach and former mastermind of offense. But not only that, he brings in Thomas Brown, who? Former interim head coach of the Bears. And when Thomas Brown was calling plays, when he took the play call from Shane Waldron, that Bears offense was humming. Not only brings in that, he brings in Doug Marrone, former head coach and the best offensive line coach in football right now. And then he brings in Terrell Williams, his guy from Tennessee. He keeps Jeremy Springer, our best coach from last year. Listen, I'm telling y'all right now, if the Patriots can have the offseason from a player perspective, like how they have been with coaching, we are going to be in the mix like Washington was this year. Mark my words, you have the quarterback, you have the number 4 pick, you have all the money in the world to spend, and you've shown clearly that you want to bring in some diesels to run the ship in terms of these coaches. We are going to be in the mix next year, like Washington, if they could get these players right. Mark my words.
I mean, to be real, I can't even hate on it.
Come on now.
I wanted to just say some bullshit, but come on now. Like, let's just start up top. The Patriots got 126 million cap space. Like,
mad picks.
126 million cap space. They got their franchise QB. They have a coach, a valid, credible coach, probably the most touted coach in this whole carousel this offseason. They got Vrabel, hometown hero guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he is putting together a staff that is worth talking about. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I hope he trips on a stoop and just, things go left. But I can't hate, bro. Fuck the Patriots. I don't know. The Patriots, they're doing a stellar job. I want to combat that so bad. I want to combat that.
No.
But hey, the one thing that I can say is we welcomed our coach today. We welcomed our GM today as well. And we got something to be a little bit happy for as well. Big shout out to Aaron Glenn. We spoke about it a few weeks ago in the pod on whether or not we thought to whom would go to what team. Vrabel was already established. And we just got Aaron Glenn. We got Aaron Glenn. We got Darren Muji from Denver. I said Mungie. We got Darren Muji from Denver, former player, knows the game. Both were scouts. And hey, man, Aaron Glenn was like, listen, man, we New York Jets, man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Let's stand on that man. Come on now. Whatever he said in the press conference had me amped. I was watching that work, getting all strong, amped and stuff. But listen, I mean, I'm about to say we in the middle of the pack right now. We got about 20 mil in cap space. I heard Aaron Glenn wants to keep Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the hell is going on, but hey, man, shout out to the Patriots. Both of us got some good stuff to look forward to. Let's just hope we both make the playoffs this year. I mean, for the sake of us both.
Tell me this, Mo. What? Because it's early in the process because you just recently hired AG. What do the Jets have to do by way of staff, or what would you like to see them do by way of staff that would make you go on here and get fired up? Like, okay, we moving. Because me, I'm on a tight time with the staff that we got already that we going to playoffs next year. Yeah. I want to know what the Jets have to do by way of staff that make you feel the same way.
Well, the two guys that I felt like we should have went at defensively are both spoken for now. I really, really had high interest in Dennis Allen, the former DC of the New Orleans Saints. He decided to take his talents to Chicago. I also had high hopes that we'd get somebody like Eberflus, former head coach of the Bears. He is now in, if I'm not mistaken, Dallas with Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
So that leaves a few different candidates, some of whom may also be coming into it with a lack thereof experience, and that's one thing that makes me a bit nervous, right? There has been a ton of talk about us getting the QB coach for the Rams as our OC.
Nick Haley.
Nick Haley, yes, Nick Haley. And I don't think that's going to happen because Nick Haley's boss was our former OC that we fired in Mike LaFleur. Who knows? Don't know. But I can almost imagine that we're going to start seeing guys being plucked from the Saints, from the Broncos, from the Lions. These three teams are teams that I would almost imagine us getting possible candidates for. Looking at a Mark Brunell as potential OC or pass game coordinator, someone along those lines, But the Lions coaching staff was pretty much damn near gutted. Antoine Randall went to Chicago.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson is in Chicago. He just took everybody. So it worked less in our favor because we made the hire last.
Yeah.
But I don't have a guess at who's going to be OC. I don't want anybody inexperienced. I don't want the Josh McCowans. Nick Haley, I'm not a big fan of Nick Haley, just because it's just going to change our offense immensely. There's going to be a ton of pre-snap motions, and, depending on who our quarterback is, it might not work in our favor. So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a ton of different things to think about. I really liked Clint Kubiak, but he's in Seattle. So I don't know, man. It sucks. I don't know.
Shout out to AG Aaron Glenn, because it's not a sure thing that Rodgers is coming back. And for you to take a job where you don't know where the quarterback is at this point, unless you're like 70-year-old Pete Carroll, it's kind of like, it's almost like a kiss of death. But when you're a guy like Aaron Glenn, who I can tell that the Jets want to build around, like, who knows, like, maybe Rodgers comes back. Maybe they sign, you probably don't want to hear this, but Kirk Cousins. Maybe they sign Darnold back. Maybe they draft the guy in the top 6. There's the Jackson Darts of the world, the Quinn Ewers now of the world. We'll see. But
I actually, with that said, I think, and I'm hoping, because depending on how this goes between now and draft time, I'm a big fan of Jackson Dart. Now, Jackson Dart at 7 is a reach. But if we can get Jackson Dart in the early second, depending on how quarterback happy these teams are, I'd really like to get Jackson Dart and build behind an Aaron Rodgers. Because I don't know what'll come of it next year. If we don't do good, are we in play for Arch? Who knows what's to come? But, there's a ton of different things to consider. And this quarterback carousel is going to pick up pace pretty soon. After the Super Bowl, those quarterbacks normally go from round 5 picks to top 20 picks.
Yeah,
so we'll see how this shapes out.
Yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting one, but this is going to be an exciting offseason, man. But we excited to keep bringing it to y'all, man. This has been a blast truthfully, the playoffs have been fun. I know we talk a lot about, the officiating and stuff. The playoffs have been fun. And I'm super excited for what this offseason is going to look like for everybody, but especially for them Pats.
Man, I'm excited too. Can't wait for February 10th. I think that's the day after the Super Bowl. Just to see what the offseason entails. I feel like there may be more coaches on the move. Who knows? I don't know. But I'd love for us to get our staff established. I'd love for us to get an answer at who the QB is going to be so we don't go into the combine like just aimlessly looking at quarterbacks randomly, not trying to hurt Aaron Rodgers' feelings. Kind of just want to rip the Band-Aid off. I love what AG said today too. Listen, I know y'all are going to ask about Aaron Rodgers. I've been texting him, and we'll nip this in the bud sooner rather than later. So I'm appreciative of that. We'll see what our new GM is capable of, and we'll go from there. But other than that, Sandbox, we love y'all, man. Thanks for tapping in again for yet another week. We'll see y'all again Super Bowl Sunday. Love y'all. Bow.